we'll gather around, feel the love come down. Blue elephant is strong, together we belong.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So, a company called Antor recently sent me this absolutely beautiful, and I mean beautiful, Tree of Life diamond painting. Now, I think it's gorgeous. Like, it goes through all of the seasons. You can see it change the the winter, spring, into the summer and fall colors. Like, it's just, it's absolutely stunning. I really enjoy the ones like this one that have instead of like the little square or the round drills that's like wall to wall drills on your diamond painting. Like, those are cool, don't get me wrong. But these ones that have the actual like rhinestones and the different shapes and sizes and the colors and even more sparkliness than like your typical wall-to-wall diamond painting. Like, these ones are my favorite to do. And they don't take nearly as long either. Like, I personally, like, I really enjoy doing them, but I don't have a whole lot of time in my day, so doing the big ones that are wall to wall for me, it'll take me months and months to do, right? Because I can only work on it a little bit at a time, and, I'm me and special, and I just use the one single little daughter do my floppy, and so, it takes me longer as opposed to getting tools where I could, do 4 or 5 at a time, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, so we're going to make this today. Now, I'm going to go through and I'm actually going to show you the process of making it, obviously in sped up time, because you don't need to see it in real time. We don't want to be here for hours, but just so that you can kind of see, this one is very, very simple. And again, it is so, so pretty. And we're going to take this up a notch and just add some things to it at the end that are just going to take it from wow to wow, all in capital letters. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to let you guys kind of just watch through this process. I will be back when we are ready for the next step so I can walk you through what we're going to do.
Who told secrets deep in the ground? Whispers of years in a circle bound. Every leaf tells a story, every branch a crown. Seasons change, but the tree stands still. Through the frost and the bloom and the growing thrill, branches of time reaching wide and tall. Life's a cycle, we rise, we fall. stretching wide and tall. Life's a cycle, we rise, we fall. Circles and spirals, no straight line. Each ring inside is a mark of time. A winter's grief, a summer's song. The tree of life just grows a seed so small in the cradle of earth, silent whispers of its endless worth. Roots dig deep where shadows play, dreams of green in the light of day. The tree of life, its ways it bends. Through every storm it finds amends. Branches high, they kiss the skies. The tree of life, it never dies. Leaves that shimmer like golden flames, each one etched with 1,000 names. Rings that hold the stories untold, wisdom carved in circles of old.
I am back. Isn't this absolutely just breathtaking? Like, it is so, so pretty. So, what we're going to do is, because this time, I know I've put a few different diamond dot paintings on my channel before, and I've typically done resin. This time we're not going to go the resin route. We're going to do something else. So, because I'm not doing resin and I want to make sure that these drills aren't going to go anywhere, I am going to put a diamond painting glue on them. Now, I have never used this before, and I pray to God I'm doing it right, because the one that I ordered does not come with directions. It doesn't tell you what to do. So I am assuming that since it had a spongy tip on it, I'm just supposed to dab it on and let it dry. So that's what I did. So fingers crossed it works. Now, I want to put this on a canvas. So my first thought is, again, we're not doing resin. So first we're going to cut it down to size, right? And you can see where the border is of what is supposed to actually be the background of it. So you just cut off the rest of that nonsense from the canvas. Now I'm using, I want to say it's like 11 by 14 size canvas. And I am going to do it in the landscape way, right? I'm not going to do it portrait style. I'm doing it landscape simply because of the fact that, like, it could work either way, but I feel like because the tree itself is more wide than it is tall, that it just seems like it would be a better fit doing it landscape. Does that make sense? Like, it looks better. Like, I did kind of mess around with it both ways. This way I think it looks better. See, it just doesn't do it for me. Doesn't scream to me. Where typically, as far as paintings go, I guess I'm more of a portrait style. Like, I kind of like that look. But for this, it's not going to work. So, what I want to do first is, because of the method that I'm going to do later on, I do want to give this a coat of white paint. Now, granted, where the background, like canvas part of the diamond painting, is a white-ish color, it is not a true white. I probably could have tried a little bit harder to match the color, but I didn't because, again, I have an idea in my head of what I want to do, so it's not going to necessarily matter. Hopefully, we'll just have to wait and see. I am putting on a nice even coat of paint. I am going to take my time and make sure that there are no brush strokes like you can see right here, right? So after I kind of get it smoothed all out, I'm going to cover the edges. Then I'm just going to take my brush and very carefully in one swipe straight down, go all the way down to make the brush strokes fade away. And then we are going to set this and let this completely dry before we move on to the next step. Now, as you can see here in a second, well, as soon as I move this, you'll be able to see that I touched the paint before it was dry and left the fingerprint. It's fine. It'll be fine. It's going to get covered up by this anyway. Now, to make sure that this is centered, I am going to measure exactly how big the canvas is, how big the actual diamond cutout that I did is, and then we're going to make sure that we center it, get all of that good to go. And after I know what my dimensions are, now I am just going to take some Mod Podge and I am going to go pretty heavy on it simply because it is canvas on canvas, and that canvas on that the diamond dots are on is, it's not light. So I do want to make sure that it's going to be a really good amount on there to dry and get it all stuck on. I'm going to go over the back of it just a little bit, put it on, double check my measurements before I press it down, and then press it down. Then I'm just going to go along the edges where I didn't really do the greatest job applying the paint and the glue, and just making sure that I have glue around all of the sides, edges, all of that, just so that it doesn't pop up later on. And then this is what we're going to do. So my thought process is, I thought it would be kind of cool that, see how like behind the drills you can see the color kind of coming out, and especially in the orange you can see it a lot more prominent than you can most of the other colors, but it almost looks like it's like a cloudy type effect in there with the way that the color is. I kind of want to see if I can make that happen. I've seen, now granted, this is a technique that is used with resin, and I've seen it on, people do it on like tumblers where they put alcohol ink on the tumbler and then they spray it, or I've seen it done on canvas too, which is why I don't understand what happens next. But they put the alcohol down, right? The alcohol ink, spray it with alcohol, and it kind of dances around and you can get some cool effects and stuff like that, right? Well, that was what my plan was to do for the background of this. Didn't work out at all the way that I thought it was going to. I don't know. I mean, looking back, I guess even though I put the layer of paint on and I kind of thought that that would be enough, maybe I needed more. I don't know, but the canvas just kind of sopped it up and it didn't spread the way that I thought that it should have from the various videos that I've seen. I don't know. I mean, they were a long time ago, so who knows? I guess in hindsight, I probably should have watched one more recently, like so that I knew what I was doing instead of just relying on my memory, which hasn't been the greatest here this last year. But it is what it is. Now, I did go around the edge of the canvas on the diamond painting with a little bit of white paint, trying to blend in that seam that's between it. Just hitting it with my heat gun just to kind of help it dry a little bit faster. And now we're going to start playing with the alcohol inks. So my thought is I've pulled out the colors that are in the painting itself, and I want to put the background and make it go in the same kind of order that the colors are there. So it just kind of flows and looks like it's just billowing out color in the same colors. Does that make sense? So I sprayed a little bit with alcohol, dropped down my ink, and it didn't move. It didn't do anything. It just sat there. So I thought, okay. Now, mind you, this is the first time that I've ever used alcohol inks on anything outside of resin. So, yeah. So then I sprayed it with alcohol on top and shook it, and then it did this. And then I was like, okay, well, that's not gonna work either. So I got kind of like a dry brush and I did this. And then I started thinking, oh my God, what have I just done? So I smeared it out with a paper towel, dried a little bit. And panic has truly, truly set it at this point. Like, granted, the glue's not dry on the back of the diamond painting, so I could take it off, but I was committed. Like, I was like, okay, I'm gonna use this. I guess I'm just gonna have to go over it with white and make this disappear. Acrylic paint covers up stuff pretty well, so that's what I did. Hit it with my heat gun just to dry it all, make sure, because I don't want to turn it pink. And we're gonna go over it with some white acrylic paint. And at this point, I'm like, all right, I mean, like, it's covering, but it's not. And I know I could lather it up and put, a bunch more coats on it, but I started kind of thinking, I was like, well, I kind of don't hate it. Like, it has some potential. We're just gonna kind of pull up the paint in swirlies and kind of go up to the side with it, and this is okay. So let's try and do what I was going to do, but we'll just do it in a different way, right? So I'm still going to go through the same thing. Now I'm just going to purposely do what I just did before and freaked out at myself over. But we're just going to blend it out with the paint and give it a softer look and, you know, hopefully get similar to the same effect. I mean, obviously, if I'd have just done it without the white paint, you saw what the vibrancy of the color would be. I almost like this better because it's a softer color as opposed to that bam pow. And I mean, like, okay, the tree itself is like bam pow with colors, right? But I don't want to necessarily like compete with the tree. I want the tree. That is our focal point. I mean, like, you want your eye drawn to that. So the background of it, you kind of want just a softer version of whatever. So honestly, this probably was a good mistake to happen, me not doing it right and it not working right and whatever, because if if it hadn't, it would have all been super bright, and I just don't think that it would look as good as it does once I'm finished. Like, it's one of those happy accidents that sometimes happen when we make mistakes, right? And we screw up and all of the things, but it probably turned out better in the end doing it this way. So I'm just going to take my colors and I'm going to blend them out, blend them up, blend them into part of the canvas that is on the actual like the diamond painting is on itself, because again, I am trying to hide that line as much as possible without having to put something harsh over it that is going to like outline that it's there. Does that make sense? Like, I had thought, oh, I could do like washi tape, and yes, it would hide the seam between the canvas and the canvas, but it's not the aesthetic that I necessarily want. So I don't know. Like, I think I'm sure there's probably something else I could have done to make it better. What exactly at this point, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm hoping that maybe one of you guys can see it. Maybe you've done something like this or whatever, or just maybe you have an idea of how I could have made it fade out, or maybe it doesn't even look bad. I don't know. Like, to me, like, I don't want to say I'm a perfectionist, but like I strive for perfection. I know I'm never going to get it, but that's like always what I want. And I guess when I see something like that, I'm like, like I really want it to go away, but I just didn't want to do anything that's going to take away from the actual painting itself, like, because it is so, 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 so pretty. Anyway, so we're just going to continue doing this. And then after I was done, I was kind of thinking, and I sent a picture of it to Lynn, and I asked her what she thought and if I should do anything else. She said, no, it looks really good how it is. But then, like, I went back and I looked at it and I was like, man, I don't know. Like, I feel like it needs something more. Like, it's not where I want it to be yet. So I started playing around with it a little bit more. And you know, all of those pieces that we have that, you know, you've got a few drips of resin here or there and you make something, or you just make something small thinking that you're going to do something with it and you never get around to that project. So you've got like 800 of these things laying around and like, what do I do with them? Well, here's what you can do with them. So after I was done doing all of this and fading it all in and blending it out and all of the things, now I will stop to say that I do wish that I had done the blue just a tad lighter and added a little bit more white into it. I feel like it stands out a little bit more pronounced than the rest of the colors. They're more muted and whatever. So I do wish I would have done that. I mean, I could probably maybe go back at this point and add some more. No, I can't, not because of what I did to finish it off. I was going to say I could probably add some more paint to it to soften it a little bit more, but you'll see here in a minute once I add the what I'm going to add to it that it's not going to be a possibility. But I could have, if I had thought about it before, I could have and should have probably added a little bit more white paint to the blue just to mute it just a tiny, tiny bit more. Now, I think it looks gorgeous. I love the blending of the colors. I love just how it just turned out. I feel like maybe the pink I should have brought into like closer to the tree a little bit more on the first side that I did. But all in all, I think it looks really, really pretty. But I'm not done yet. So this is what I decided that I was going to do. In Thursday's video, remember I did the into resin, the little brooch leaves. So I had the 3 clear ones that I actually had another plan for, but I decided that I'm going to use those through just to add a little bit more interest. We're going to keep it clear. Now, can you see them like great? No, but they're just adding just a little bit. You know, like you'll catch the sparkle from the diamond cut that's in them when depending on how the light hits it, right? You'll see it, but not like in your face. And then I took 2 of the water ripple butterflies that I had previously made from the into resin mold, and I glued them both down as well. Again, this is going to help kind of disguise that the seam a little bit more, in my opinion, and just add a little bit to it. Like the butterfly on the bottom, I didn't want to do anything with. It had bubbles in it, but I mean, it looks really cool. Like even the bubbles in the clear part look really neat, but I think it just goes great down in that lower corner. And the one with the glitter kind of matches really well with the one up within that top corner. So I think it turned out pretty cool. Now I just took E6000 glue and I'm gluing each one of these pieces down. The leaves kind of going in the different directions. And you can see, you can barely see it. Like you can just see it right now. On the blue, there's another leaf. And that's why I cannot go in with any other paint to tone it down some, because the leaf is clear, so you'll be able to see what's underneath of it. So if I did tone it down, I would be able to tone it down all around that leaf, but not under it. Makes sense? So you'd have that one bright spot that would just look really, really weird. Anyway, this is it. It's done. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you have any ideas on how I could better camouflage that seam. But that's a wrap on this one, guys. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. I will see you guys on Tuesday in the next one. Love ya. Bye.
Blue elephant is strong. Together we belong. In every comment, right? You lift me to new heights. Your support, it's clear, gives me reason to cheer. Blue elephant crew, this one's out for you. You make dreams come true with everything you do. Each subscriber's heart playing a vital part. Videos we share, showing how much we care. Likes and shares, they grow.